So why polygamy makes civil war more likely? First of all, what is polygamy? It's pretty much just the practice or custom of having more than one wife or husband at a time. So the Mormons are famous for being polygamous. Doc Antle from Tiger King, the man with a couple of wives, that's polygamy, when you have multiple of one spouse. Correlation doesn't equal causation, so you've got to take this with a grain of salt. So the 20 most fragile states in the world are somewhat polygamous. Here is the explanation for why polygamy makes civil wars more likely. Because the rich men are taking more wives, that means the top 10% of men could be marrying as many as 4 women each, more potentially more, most likely more, especially the higher wealth you have, the more wives you actually have. Then that leaves the bottom 30% of society, or the bottom half more or less, who are already more inclined to rebel, since existing in the bottom poorest 30%, you actually don't see the sort of opportunities that the people in the other half see. So you're already poorer, a little bit more desperate, seeing less opportunity. You're already more inclined to join a rebel group. That would be the catalyst of a civil war. But furthermore, in these polygamous society, there aren't actually physically women there for you to marry, because the people at the top have taken more than one. And taken, unfortunately, is the right word to use here. These aren't consensual arrangements. Unfortunately, the biggest loser in this whole thing is women. They are bought and sold, really, without their interests being taken account of at all. Apart from China, have 1-to-1, male-female, all across the world. So in these states, if there's 4 chicks for one guy at the top, then that means there's 1 chick for 4 guys at the bottom. There isn't even a woman available for this man in the bottom 30% to marry. So on top of his already marginalized place in society, he's going to be sexually frustrated. So that's the domino factor here. Because the bottom half of society aren't favorable mates for the daughters that do exist, because in the bottom 30%, the women still strive to make a partner with someone in the top 10%. The men are marginalized even further because the few scarce brides that are available, they don't even have access to. And because a lot of these brides are bought from their fathers, the case of a scarce resource, which is women in this case, is that a high demand for a scarce resource increases the price. So again, it's just further dominoing and dominoing and dominoing. You have not many women available in the first place, people at the bottom with not any money, left to only have access to women that they can't afford. So what do they do then? They go further. To collect means of payment, there's a lot of robbery, there's a lot of theft, there's a lot of murder through raids. It's really quite grim, since this is all for the end goal of getting a wife. With all that being said, what we have here is a terrible recipe for unrest. And these young men become primed for rebel recruitment. Since groups need soldiers, highly polygamous societies make it so that significant numbers of soldiers become available for all of the cascading reasons that I just mentioned. So one of the prime financial incentives in these countries is to pay for a bride. And so then, in addition to everything that's already been said, some soldiers are simply going to join a rebel cause so they can afford to then go and get their own bride. In northern Nigeria, where polygamy is rife, the Boko Haram, which is the Islamic State in West Africa, they will actually arrange cheap marriages for their recruits. So, bottom line is, civil war needs desperate soldiers, and nothing causes as much desperation as a poor society coated with a polygamous culture. Okay, this has been another chapter from this outrageously interesting book published by The Economist in 2018, Seriously Curious. If you'd like to purchase a copy of the book, you can through a link in my description. But furthermore, there is a playlist which you'll see hopefully recommended to you, where I've taken my favorite chapters from the book and made them into tiny little clip videos like this. If you've made it to the end, you're a ledge. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave 5 stars in the comments. Thank you so much.